So in this video, we are going to talk about the historical milestone in drug discovery with respect to pharmacognosy. So again, in the syllabus we have morphine, quinine, aspirin, warfarin, penicillin, cephalosporin, taxol, and artemisinin. So these all drugs have one thing is common that they obtain from natural sources, which includes plants, microorganisms. So, as you know, morphine is obtained from plant that is Papaver somniferum and is widely much used as a narcotic analgesic drug, whereas Vincona is antimalarial. Aspirin is a very famous pain reliever and also used as a blood thinner. We have the warfarin anticoagulant drug, then the penicillin, cephalosporin as the most versatile antibiotics or antibacterials. Yes, last but not the least, the artemisinin is antimalarial and the taxol, which is used as an anti-cancer drug, which is obtained from a plant Taxus brevifolia. So let's start this one by one, and we will see the historical background. It was again number one, morphine. It was in 1500 BCE when the ancient use has been came to the known by the civilization of Mesopotamia, where it was evident that is a collection of the poppy plant is there. As you can see in this description of image which is carved on a stone, a woman or a man is collecting a sample from this plant that is very much similar to opium, that is Papaver somnifera. It was around 1500 BCE. Then we also have a knowledge that in the ancient text of Greeks and Romans there is a mentioning of opium use, and it was well established and used and documented by Hippocrates and Dioscorides. It was in 1804 when the Sir Turner finally isolated this morphine from the opium plant and named it as a after the god that Morphus, the Greek god of dreams. Then it was introduced in the medicine in the early 1800s, and it was then the main turning point came in 1850s when there is a development of the hypodermic syringes and the dosing become of the morphine become very simple. And again it was again synthesized in late 1800s and early 19s when we came to know about its structure, and at present you know it is used as a narcotic analgesic drug. So this is about morphine. So second is the quinine is very much known for its anti-malarial properties. So again it was as per historical depicts, it revealed that the pre-17th century period of the indigenous knowledge of Andes people used the bark of cinchona to treat fevers and chills. And it was transplanted basically, transferred from this Andes to other continents, particularly to Europe, when it was brought to the Europe by Jesuit missionaries for the treatment of malaria. And it was in 1820 when these two scholars, Peltier and Benjamin, isolated quinine from cinchona bark. And in the 19th century its widespread use was spread, and it was widely much used in the for the travelers and also in different world war conditions, and especially in the for the soldiers also. And it was in 20th century when it became a renowned antimalarial drug, and it marked as an important part of the history of medicine. Then we have aspirin, which is obtained from Salix alba plant. The ancient time depicts that the willow bark, which is a Salix alba, used in the traditional medicine for the fever and pain. It was again in 1828 the breakthrough discovery when the salicin was isolated by John Andrews Buckner. And it was in 1874 when the salicylic acid has been identified as a major ingredient that is responsible for its therapeutic effect. And ultimately, in 1897, Flax Hoffman synthesizes this acetyl salicylic acid at the bears, and which is being used as just to relieve the irritation of the stomach. But later on, it was revealed as the most important drug in the history for the fever, and also as of day today, it is used as a blood thinner also. And it was 1899 when aspirin was introduced to the world by the bears. And again in early 1900s its production started, its mass production was started, and it was in 1971 when this was found that the low dose of aspirin shows to prevent blood clot, so it served as an important mark in the history of medicine. Today we all know about this drug. Again Salix alba plant is there. Warfarin, again it was a very mystical disease of the it was observation basically that the cattle in the North Dakota fed spoiled sweet clover plant. They develop bleedings. So this is known as the sweet clover disease, where the cattle suddenly develop bleeding. And it was basically the discovery of the Karl Bohr link who identified the dicomoral derivative in the plant sweet clover. And the synthesis of warfarin was conducted by the researchers as Michigan Alumni Research Foundation, where they synthesized warfarin as the more potent and reliable compound than dicomarol. So basically the root is dicomarol, then the warfarin was synthesized, then again its clinical use for again 1940s, it was applicability was recommended in 1948, and in 1954 to 1957 era led to the development of its understanding mechanism. And today this warfarin drug has been renowned as an important anticoagulant drug also. And we also know it inhibits vitamin K epoxide reductase enzyme. So the plant name is Milotus officinalis fabaceae family. Then we have the accidental discovery of the penicillin when in 1928 the Alexander Fleming noted that the penicillium notatum inhibits the growth of bacteria, and it was in 1939 when the Howard Florey and Ernest Chain isolate and purify penicillin and demonstrate its antibacterial properties. It was again tested in vivo in animals in 1940, and mass production was started in around 1941 to 1943, and it was widely used also in World War II, particularly in the era of 1944 to 1945, and nowadays the derivative has been commercially used as an antibiotics. The penicillin notatum is a strain. Then again Penicillium italicum, again an important microbial strain from which it was named after a Italian scientist when the Italian scientist observed antibacterial properties of Penicillium italicum. So what he did, he isolated some of the active substance like cephalosporin C from this strain, and it was in 1960s when the structure was basically elucidated of these cephalosporin derivatives. Nowadays, we have the up to fourth generation cephalosporin available for the treatment of various microbial infections. We have the Taxol, the most important anti-cancer drug. The discovery lies in the tree, that is the Pacific yew tree, Texas baccata. Its bark shows important anti-tumor activities, and it was in 1967 when ultimately Taxol is identified as a major anti-cancer compound. The semi-synthetic derivatives have been produced in 1980s, and the FDA also got approved. The Taxol also got FDA approval, particularly in 1992. And today we are using this drug as an anti-cancer drug. The plant name is Texas baccata. Taxaceae is the family. In the last we have artemisinin in our syllabus, and it was again dated back to 200 AD when the Chinese system of medicine gave us knowledge that this plant Artemisia annua has been used to treat fevers. And it was in 1960s when the Chinese government started a project related to malaria, and the different scholars worked, and it was basically this scholar that the name of Tu Yu. She was also got awarded by the Nobel Prize in the physiology for the discovery of this compound, that is artemisinin. So basically in 1972, the discovery of this Artemisia annua extract has been done. It is related to the anti-malarial properties. And the isolation of artemisinin was achieved during 1972 to 1974. And the important era is 1979 when we know about the structure of the artemisinin also. Then we developed different semi-synthetic derivatives from the artemisinin, and today this drug has been used as a very famous antimicrobial first-line drug for the treatment of different type of malaria. So plant is Artemisia annua. So in the last, I acknowledge all the sources that I have used to prepare this video, particularly the artificial intelligence content that I have used. So this is for educational purposes only. There is no commercialization involved whatsoever in this channel. So thank you all for your valuable time. In the last, I would say, yes, from the natural remedies to the life-saving medicine, the credit goes to the nature, the historical milestone in the drug discovery: opium, quinine, aspirin, warfarin, penicillin, cephalosporin, Taxol, artemisinin. They all have one thing in common, that they obtain from natural sources. Thank you for a valuable time.